you're gonna really love this. If I wanted this to be straight, I wouldn't use this. It's okay, it's just the water, it's not burning it. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda, and today I'm gonna be showing you guys how easy it is to actually use hot tools on your heat-friendly synthetic fibers. But before I jump into it all, I'm gonna remind you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can learn even more about alternative hair. Okay, I think you're gonna really find this video useful. If you are someone who has heat-friendly fibers and you're just sort of figuring it out, then you're gonna really love this. And even if you're someone who's like, no, I don't like heat-friendly fibers, stay away, then I think maybe this video will be eye-opening for you and show you that they're not as scary as you think they are. Okay, so I just want to give you a little bit of a background on heat-friendly fibers before I begin. So the reason some people are a little bit against having them is because heat-friendly fibers tend to get a little bit clumpy and frazzly and frizzly and gummy feeling, and they don't quite act the same as a plain synthetic fiber would. Heat-friendly fibers also do require a bit more maintenance than your standard synthetic fiber, especially when you have the longer heat-friendly fiber wigs. So because of the extra maintenance it sometimes involves, and because of the fact that they get frizzy and clumpy a bit more quickly, some people tend to just stay away from them and opt for the synthetics. I personally prefer the heat-friendly fibers over synthetics because I enjoy playing with them, I enjoy styling them, and I think my favorite feature is that they aren't as shiny as your plain synthetic fibers. So they're just gonna look a little bit more like human hair than your standard synthetic will. Okay, now that we have all that out of the way, let me start to dive in so that I am giving you the information that you are here for. Now, also, I find that many people get a little bit confused as to what type of heat tool they can use on their fibers. So like I said, there's the heat-friendly fibers, and then there's just your synthetic fibers, and they both react differently with heat. So today we're talking strictly about heat-friendly fibers and the types of tools that you can use on them. More specifically, my personal 3 favorite tools and what I use them for. And of course, I'm gonna show you exactly how I use them too. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my Dalgona 16 hand-tied wig, which is one of my very favorites. And this is of course a heat-friendly synthetic fiber. Now I am using this particular piece today because she needs a little bit of maintenance. She needs a little bit of work. So I want to show you guys what I'm gonna do to her and what tools I'm gonna use to tackle specific things. Also, I just want to mention what a beautiful day it is out today where I am. All the sun is just shining on me. It's not like too blindingly bright. It's just like a nice soft glow, and I'm just loving it. All right, now before I show you the heat tools I'm using and how I use them, I will let you know that I always start off by spraying with water. This is a water mister. I just got this from Amazon. They are super handy to use, especially in comparison to the standard squirt bottles that you're like pumping all the time. And then they just like spit water out at you and it's just like so uneven. This is just a nice even spray and I love it. So this is a must-have. Okay, so I always start off by spraying lightly. You don't need to soak it, just, you know, nice little spray to make it moist. Moist. Don't we just all love that word? All right, now that I've sprayed water on this, I'm gonna bring out my hair straightener. The reason I might use a hair straightener on my heat-friendly synthetic fibers are, for me, I have 3 reasons actually. One of the reasons would be if I want to completely straighten out a piece. So let's say you have a wavy wig like this one and you want to make it straight. You're just over the waves, you're ready for a change, you want to make it straight. You are going to spray it with water like I just did. Take a fine tooth comb and follow behind with your hair straightener, just like this. Notice how you hear the sizzles. It's okay, it's just the water, it's not burning it. But once you do that, you are going to have this completely stick straight piece that is no longer wavy. Now, I'm not gonna do this to my whole wig because I'm not ready to completely straighten it, but I'm just showing you one little piece so that you can understand how it works and how you can just carry on this same technique throughout your whole wig. The reason you're gonna use a fine tooth comb is because that's gonna help pull it as tight and straight as you can get it. So when you pull through with your fine tooth comb, that's just gonna help pull it a bit tighter and help it stay a little bit straighter. Okay, so reason one I use a hair straightener is to, of course, make it straight, and just know that it's gonna make it like stick straight. Reason number two that I might use a hair straightener is to get rid of any frizz that I might see on my wig. Now, I'm not gonna use a hair straightener every time I wanna get rid of frizz. I'll talk about that later, but if you would like to get rid of frizz while making your wig straight, then I would use a hair straightener. So you'll notice how on this piece, there is no more frizz. It's all beautifully straightened. Whereas if you look at the rest of this section of the wig here, it doesn't look really smooth. It looks like there's some frizz showing up here, and it doesn't look its best. So the hair straightener will get rid of all the frizz, but of course, it's gonna take out the curl and make it completely straight. Okay, I'm gonna tuck this behind my ears, get out my water again, and spray this so I can demonstrate the third reason why I'm going to use a hair straightener on my heat-friendly fibers. I use a hair straightener anytime I want to recurl or just curl my heat-friendly fibers. In order for your fibers to actually stay curled, you need to allow it to cool down before releasing the curl. The reason I love a hair straightener is because the back side of your hair straightener is gonna be cooler than, of course, your plates in the middle. So as it's curling around your hair straightener, it's slightly cooling a bit, which helps set that curl. Whereas if you were just using a plain standard curling iron, those are really tricky to use on heat-friendly fibers because it doesn't cool down and it will just not really curl it at all. So let me show you how I do this. I'm gonna go through and start curling and let it wrap around and pull. And then voila, we have a lovely curl. Clearly this curl is a little bit too curly. Now, if you don't want your curl to be so curly, you're just gonna tweak your technique a bit. You're not gonna clamp as hard and you're not gonna pull as hard. You're just gonna be a little bit more gentle in the whole process so that it comes out a little bit more soft and wavy. And I always like to sort of shape it around so it helps cool set it in that wave pattern that you want. So now you have a much more gentle curl happening. Okay, let me get that out of my face. All right, so before I put this hair straightener away, just recap the 3 reasons I use them is to completely make it stick straight, to get rid of any frizzies while making it straight, or to curl it or wave it. All right, let me move on to the second tool that I enjoy using with my heat-friendly fibers, and that is a hot comb. Now, I know this isn't something that many people just happen to have, but I do enjoy having it and I do use it sort of frequently. So it could be a good option to get if you're really into your heat-friendly fibers. All right, reason number 1 that I'm gonna be using a hot comb is going to be so that I can help soften any curl or loosen up any curl that's too tight for me, or just generally soften the whole look. And the great thing about using the hot comb to help soften the whole curl pattern is it's also going to help calm down any frizziness that's happening throughout the wig without completely taking out your wave or your curl. So what I'm gonna do, of course, is spray with my water, just a little bit all over the side, and make sure I work it through. I'm gonna take my hot comb and I'm gonna do this really quickly on a low setting. So I don't want this on a high setting. My hot comb, it goes all the way up to 20. I'm putting it just at 5. So I don't want it on the highest setting, just on a low setting. Now I'm gonna take it and I'm going to go really quickly and brush through. So this isn't going to completely remove the curls or the waves, it's just going to soften it and help get rid of any frizzies throughout the curls. And now I can also use it on this front one here to soften this crazy tight curl I did. Just go really quickly through it so it doesn't completely take it out, and just soften it up a little bit more. There we go. I'm gonna do a bit on this side as well, just to soften up all of these waves all throughout the wig so it's a little bit more even. Also, to help get rid of any frizzies at the end while still trying to maintain that curl, I also sometimes go in with my hot comb at the ends and then just sort of curl it around like that. And it helps sort of keep a little bit of a curl instead of keep making it straight. Okay, now the sun is starting to get really bright, so I'm actually gonna pull my curtain over a bit so that I can see a bit better. There we go. All right, now even though my Dalgona is a little bit more toned down, it is feeling quite a bit softer. So some of the frizz has definitely gone away and is just feeling a little bit better. Okay, the second reason that I might use a hot comb is if I want to train my fibers to go away from my face. So often when you get a wig, it's going to have fibers that flop in your face, which gets really annoying. Now, in order to fix that, we need to overtrain the fibers to go backwards instead of to the front. We're gonna spray with our water just a little bit, work it in there. And then you can take your hot comb and just at the roots, direct it backwards. So putting the heat here is retraining your fiber to go in a different direction. So once you've done that just a few times, you don't need to do it forever, just a few times to get that heat in there, you're gonna let this sit. You could sit here just like this for a minute or two, or you could get a clip and let it sit there like that. But we're just gonna sit and wait. All right, now that I've sat here for a few minutes, it's all cooled down now so that when I start to bring it forward, it's not gonna wanna come forward. And look, it also gives you this really nice lift in the front. If you want that little bit of volume and contour in the front, this is a really great way to do that. You can definitely see the difference on each side here and how this created this really beautiful lift in the front. Okay, so now that we've discussed hot combs, I'm gonna take this one off and I'm gonna change my wigs so that I can talk about my next favorite tool, which is going to be a hot air brush. So I'm putting on one of my very favorite wigs that you've seen a million times, Mesmerized by Raquel Welch in the color Shaded Wheat. I love to use hot tools on my longer heat-friendly synthetic wigs, and I use them for a couple of reasons. So I've purposefully left my Mesmerized for several days without adding any heat to her so that you can kind of see the difference between no heat and heat. Your long heat-friendly synthetic fibers are the ones that you need to maintain the most frequently. So I'm gonna show you how easy it is though. So it might be a little bit hard to tell, but my fibers here are feeling a little bit crunchy. They are not as smooth as they once were. I think you can kind of see that they do have a little bit of frizzy in them. They're not the smoothest that they have been. So whenever I see this, that's when I know that I have to start applying some heat to smooth it out and make them not feel so frizzy. So what I'm gonna do is just apply heat to one side, just so we can see the difference of the other side. And of course, I'm gonna start by spraying with water all over just to get a little bit moist. And now because this is loud, I'm gonna turn the sound off for this, but you can watch as I go through. So what I'll do is I'll turn this on, and I'm actually gonna turn it on to the high setting here. It's not gonna melt my fibers, I promise, but I'll turn it on to the high setting. And I'm gonna be going through on both sides of the fibers. You'll see how I kind of work through on one side and then I'll turn it around and go on the other side. And by using a hot brush, what this is gonna do is not only get rid of the frizziness that we see, but it's also going to help maintain this style that it has going on. I don't want this piece to be completely straight. If I wanted this to be straight, I wouldn't use this, I would use my hair straightener. But because I still want this to have some body and volume and style to it, like it has, I'm gonna use my hot air brush. Okay, you guys, that just took me a couple minutes and I am all done. This is something I typically do every second or third time I wear my long heat-friendly synthetics, just because, like I said, they do frizz pretty quickly, but doing this only takes a couple of minutes and then it's going to look so beautiful. So I will come up and show you. Let's get in focus here. So here are the fibers now that I've applied heat. So they're nice and smooth. They feel so much better. They don't feel like straw anymore. And then if you look at these ones, you can tell there's still a bunch of frizzies going on, and it doesn't fall. It doesn't fall nicely like this one. Like when I do this, you can see it moving a lot better. With this, they just like clump together and they don't move as nice. Also, notice how when I was doing this front piece here, after I put the heat on it, I still guided it into this position so I could let it cool, so that it would cool down just like this. And now it still has this beautiful face framing body to it, and it's like it's a brand new wig. So in the beginning, guys, if you start off with heat-friendly fibers, it might be a little bit scary at first and a little bit daunting, but as long as you have the right tools and you keep practicing, it's actually not so bad. If you have any more questions about how to use hot tools on heat-friendly fibers, then make sure you ask them below. I have made several videos before about heat-friendly fibers, specifically on straightening them, specifically on recurling them. I've done like full tutorials that you can go and see. And I've also done a video on how to use heat on plain synthetic fibers that I think you'll find really helpful. So as long as you know that this video here is only for heat-friendly fibers and don't do this with your plain synthetics, then you're gonna be fine. If you have just a plain synthetic wig, then make sure you go and check out my video on how to steam your synthetic fibers. It is definitely a very useful and helpful video that I think you'll gain a lot of information from. Hopefully you guys found this a bit helpful. If you have used any heat tools on your heat-friendly fibers, let me know below what your favorite one is. But as always, thank you so much for watching and being a part of my journey here with Chiquel. I appreciate your support every single day, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. See you guys later.